So we've returned to ordinary time. I mean, we've been in ordinary time, but finally wearing green vestments and the like today. The gospel today lends today to being called Good Shepherd Sunday. Jesus sees the people and it says that his heart is moved with pity for them because they are like sheep without a shepherd. I don't know if you've ever seen a sheep. They're kind of dumb creatures, right? If they're not herded and shepherded properly, they really will walk off a cliff to their demise, right? Or they'll wander away from the herd and get eaten by a wolf. Or when it rains, they'll just kind of look up to the sky, buying and like watching the rainfall, and they'll drown. Sheep are smelly, they're dumb, and if without a shepherd, I don't know how they survive in the wild. So when Jesus looks at us and he says, "You're like sheep without a shepherd," that's kind of a dire thing. But how many people in today's world, really, they have no direction in life. They're just kind of aimlessly walking around, buying and panicking, and there's no reflection or thought or plan or path. It's just whatever strikes my fancy today is what I'm going to go pursue. And his heart moves with pity. A better way to say it, he loves them so much that the sight of them misguided hurts him. And so he calls them to himself, who is the Good Shepherd. He calls them to follow him. He calls them to be led by him. He calls them into this arena surrounded by the watchdogs, the shepherd dogs. He calls them into this place, into this pasture that has boundaries and limits. He calls them into this direction and gives them instruction. He gives them his voice that they recognize to follow him. Another way of putting all of this, he gives his people, his sheep without a shepherd, he gives them the church. Here is where you'll flourish. We're moving, but we're moving together. We're moving not just aimlessly to whatever catches our attention or distracts us for the moment, but we're moving in unison towards heaven. We're moving in unison towards what God is offering us. We're moving in unison towards human flourishment. All these rules, the commandments, the practices, the discipline of the church, it's not meant to keep us down. It's meant to free us to flourish. How can I have a great life if I go walk off the cliff? Rather, I need to recognize and trust my shepherd, that he brings me to good and green pasture. He gives me what I need, and he gives me what I need to flourish. Follow the Lord, not your passing whims.